Hello. Oh, hi there. So this is the second time that I filmed this video. The first time was a couple of days ago. It was a beautiful sunny day, and you could really tell by how green the grass was. But I got back home and I realized that the audio was entirely unusable because I think that my microphone was dirty or something. So I'm going to film another one today. Yeah, let's go. So today we're near Artist Seat to go and visit St. Anthony's Chapel over there. It's really beautiful. As I told you, I went there the other day, but yeah, it was a pretty unlucky coincidence that my microphone was dirty or something. So yeah, this is Edinburgh, of course. So those of you who have been here have probably recognized it. Even if most people just go to the summit of Artist Seat and don't really explore these secondary areas, which in my eyes are incredibly beautiful, even probably more beautiful than Artist Seat, the summit of Artist Seat itself. Right, let's go. Dirty old rock. And this is St. Anthony's Chapel. It's really something beautiful, I gotta say. And I imagined it to be bigger. It's quite small compared to what I thought. But yeah, it's really beautiful. There is a very short but informative panel over there on those rocks about the church. It's got a quite interesting story, rather mysterious as well. We really have quite no idea about when it was built and what happened to it, which is fun, leaves a lot to imagination. That's a nice lake, I think. Yeah, definitely artificial. And yeah, it's pretty steep down there. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. We're going up some secret paths that I found the other day. Don't tell anyone. Oh yeah, I found this the other day, which I think is quite interesting. I think that is a rabbit hole. Because I know that there are wild rabbits in Edinburgh, but I'm not quite the rabbit guy, not very well informed, so if any of you knows if there's a, maybe, if I'm correct in guessing it's a rabbit hole, I'd be very glad to hear all about it. Alright, let's go. Morning. First of all, sorry about the attire. I'm not really keen on showing my face on the internet at the moment. As you might expect from the title of this video, we're not really here to talk about St. Anthony's Chapel. Although if you ever drop by Edinburgh, I suggest that you do pay it a visit because it's absolutely stunning, it's beautiful. There's a few places that people just unexplainably ignore when they visit Edinburgh. And I think St. Anthony's Chapel is one of those. So yeah, I wanted to talk about death today. I know, pretty vague. The last couple of years I've been pretty much obsessed with death. Of course, when I was a kid, I used to find it cool and all that stuff. When I was a teenager, I used to talk about death all the time. Oh yeah, death, dying, suffering, all that stuff. It's only lately, as what I consider myself to be as a young adult, that I started thinking of death in more serious terms. I am terrified of death. Death is my greatest fear. I am afraid of stepping out of the house and just not coming back at night. just terrifies me. The whole concept, and I believe that what terrifies me is, in a way, perhaps I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer, but perhaps it's just that. It's the absence of religious beliefs that terrifies me. I cannot find relief in the thought of an afterworld, because I like to think there is, but I have no religious book telling me what it looks like or how to get there. Because I'm not an atheist. I do have a sort of repulsion for atheism. I think it's pretty stupid and very. I think atheism is a bit unintelligent. Without offending anyone, you can. Some of my best friends are atheists, but I think that atheism is a bit. It's a bit unsensible, I think, because there are some things that just refrain me from being an atheist. This is not the subject of this video, but I do consider myself to be an agnostic. I do believe that there are some superior entities. I do not know what these are, and I don't want to give them any names, but I do believe in their existence, and that's why I'm agnostic. I believe there's something out there. I don't know what it is. I don't know who it is. He's got a big long beard and a couple of sandals. I have no idea if he died on a cross or all that jazz. But despite being an agnostic, I was raised a Catholic. But as many people of my generation have, I have lost my way. So yeah, absence of beliefs, well, canonical religious beliefs, I think plays a big part in why I'm so scared of death. I don't really know the other reasons why I may be scared of it. I think it's the idea of the possibility of a big void after life. The fact that we're born and got what, 60, 70, 80, 90 years if we're very lucky, or very unlucky, but it depends on how you see it. And then what? It's just nothing. For eternity, it's just nothing. It's a bit much. It's a bit much to think about. Yeah, and I've been thinking about it a lot. I've been thinking about it an awful lot, and it does terrify me. Yeah, I guess that's one of the reasons. One thing that I am not terrified of is pain. I've talked to a lot of people, a lot of friends of mine, and some of them are, of course, they're all scared of death, they're all terrified of death, but some of them are really scared of pain, which is something that I'm not scared of at all, because Epicurus always said that death, we should not fear death, because death is relief from pain, from physical pain, which I think is fair. I mean, we really have no idea what's beyond it, so for all we know, we can, like, our fucking soul can carry the consciousness of the last pain that we felt, or some sci-fi bullshit like that. But as far as we know, death is just loss of brain activity. Brain just disconnects, which means that our body does not feel anything, including pain. So death is relief from pain, all kind of pain, mental pain, physical pain, all sort of pain, which is good. I like that, actually. I like that a lot. So I guess there's something about death that I'm fond of. I know this may sound a little confusing, maybe, because I'm so terrified of death, but I have mixed ideas about suicide, actually. Well, first of all, I do believe that everyone should be, in those aspects, in what really matters in life, I do believe that people need to be free of choosing whatever they want. All those referendums about euthanasia and all that stuff, it's just useless chatter. It's just should be legal to kill yourself. And it should be legal to have the government help you in killing yourself in a much less painful way. So yeah, that's just a bunch of stupid chatter. And I do have mixed opinions about suicide, because I do believe that everybody should be able to kill themselves if they wanted to. Then, like I said, well, we do not decide when we're born, so at the very least we should decide when to go out, which is fair, incredibly fair. You're totally right on that. And yeah, if you're really suffering for something suicide worthy, I'm not going to say on camera that you should kill yourself, but I think that after much consideration, you can come to a solution for your problems. Thing is, I've thought about it myself, different points, even a bit recently. And I've always convinced myself that my problems were not permanent, but suicide as a solution is, of course, that we know of. And let's just say that a permanent solution for temporary problems is not always a good idea. So yeah, Schopenhauer did. I gotta stop quoting philosophers. I sound like a fucking know-it-all. But so Schopenhauer said that fear of suicide is Judeo-Christian, and I do think that he has a point, because when we look at history, when we look at ancient history, we do have examples in the ancient West and even modern contemporary Far East that of suicide being something that if you have to, you can do, and it's actually seen as something positive sometimes. Well, most of the times, actually. Just think of Yukio Mishima's Arakiri in the 1970s, or Ajax. Well, not really an Arakiri, he just put a blade through his guts because he had killed some sheeps. It's pretty depressing, but also grimly fun story to read. Anyway, so yes, suicide to defend yourself against the weight of the world, in a way. It's something that the ancients used to practice. So some of the things that the ancients used to practice and that we have lost today, we should really reconsider. Not all of them, but some of them. Some of those things are really useful, would be really useful to us today. At the same time, I have some negative thoughts about suicide because of how difficult it is to go through that as someone that loves you. If you do kill yourself, it's not you that will suffer the consequences, it's those around you. And that is a big part of why I never even came as close as, trying to do it. Because I was thinking of the people who love me, because I know that there are some people who love me out there. There's someone for everybody, as they say. Everybody's got somebody. But yeah, there are some people that love me, and I never want to hurt them that way. I don't think that's correct. But then again, making people suffer is not a good thing. Never. I cannot really come to a real conclusion on suicide. I do think that there is something about the act that is really nobilitating for you. I really believe in the nobility of the soul, in a way. And yeah. But at the same time, I do fear the mourning of others. Something terrible, something really terrible that others have to go through. All those things that you might think when somebody you know kills themselves, like, I should have known, how did I not realize, I could have helped, you should have told me. Those things torture you for the rest of your life. If you do believe that that is the proper solution for your suffering, and suffering is subjective, who is anyone to tell you not to do it? Aside from someone who loves you. In the case you tell someone, and that someone says, fuck you, live, because I want you to live, because I love you, and it will really, really hurt if you died. That is probably what 99.9% of people would say, but if somebody does say that, then you have a reason to live, which is probably what you're looking for at that moment. So, yeah. Of course, it's starting to rain. Welcome to Scotland. There they are, the fuckers. We're now arrived in what is probably my favorite spot in the entirety of Archer's Seat. I'm more out of breath. Should have learned from last time. Should have brought a water bottle. There it is. My little piece of heaven. A few crows flying. Doggy playing. Let's go over that rock over there. Yeah, it's good. Whew. Sorry about the sudden change in location. We're quite some chattery people down there. Also, I really wanted to show you this place. It's magnificent. I love it. It's absolutely magnificent. Look at that tree behind me. You see it? It's beautiful. Anyway, I don't know what it is, but it looks fantastic. So, just a quick conclusion on what I was saying before. We have stated pretty clearly how terrified of death I am, and despite that, I still do drink and smoke, which I believe is not helping my cause of, trying to stay alive. Anyway, quick conclusion. I have come up with some ways to define death, in a way, because if you can define something, it's much less scarier than something that's completely unknown, at least in my opinion, in my view. So I did come up with some definitions, and through those definitions you can find a way to fight it back in a way. So death is not absence of life, because parasites and spores and vermin and scavengers do live thanks to corpses and, you know, the dead. So there is life after that, in a way. There is. It's like physically, naturally. And life is not absence of death, because we are surrounded by death everywhere. And death is a big part of who we are and what we do in life. And we, as soon as we're born, it's like we sign a contract. We have to die. At one point, we have to die. That's part of what life is, in a way. So there is a way, I believe, to fight death, and that is memory. I think memory is what kills death. No pun intended. But the best way to fight off death and the fear of death is memory. For me, at least, it is memory. If you do something possibly positive and you get remembered for that, that's sort of like living after death. I don't know who it was, but someone wrote that you die a second time when somebody utters your name for the last time. I think that's beautiful. I think that's true. I've always wanted to make something with my life. I always wanted to make something that people enjoy, that people can remember me for. And I think I'm doing it. I think I'm doing something that people like. I don't really want to talk about who I am and what I do. I mean, if you're watching this video, there's probably a great chance that you do know who I am. In that case, hi. But yeah, I think that I'm leaving my very small, tiny, fucking millimetrical mark in the world. And I'm very happy about that. Of course, I still fear death. But I think that being remembered is something beautiful. I love remembering. I study history. I study history at university. And part of the reason why I do it is because I like to learn about the past. I like to remember. I like to know more about people who have not necessarily revolutioned the world. I don't want to hear all the time about Tiberius and Claudius and Diocletian. I want to know about the little people, those very, you know, that little people that roamed the streets of Rome and Constantinople and the big cities. That's what I like. That's what all historians like. Knowing the life of the private life of the daily life of peoples of the past, and trying to remember as much as you can from them. We've come to the point of identifying. Well, we haven't come to that point now. I'm talking 200, 300, 400 years ago. We've come to the point of identifying painters, vase painters, Greek vase painters, by the hand, by the technique, by the way some things are drawn. If that's not will to remember, if that's not will to further life in a way, even if it's not yours, even if it's the life of some other deceased, it's exactly the reason why we do funerary rites and we bring flowers to our loved ones at the cemetery. We want to prolong their memory and their life. And of course, the religious doctrines have made up all the stuff that the dead see you from above. So if they get offended if you don't send them flowers, that's not true. It's just a way to justify a ritual that has always existed. Remembering the dead. Even the Romans had tombstones. I should know it out of all people. I study it. I sounded very angry there, but I wasn't. I was just thinking for myself. Sorry. Anyway, there's this little thing that I've thought about. that I think explains pretty clearly the way I see things. Imagine you've grown up with a tree in your garden, right? And every single summer you'd go out and drink some lemonade or have a barbecue under that tree. The sun is really warm, the days are really warm, the sun is really hot, and you get burned in the sun. So what do? You go under that tree and you get protection from it. You revel in its shadows. And one day, the tree gets cut down, gone. Well, you're gonna remember that tree for the rest of your life. You're gonna remember how you sought protection from the sun rays by that tree. And you're gonna tell your children, you know, when I was your age, there used to be a tree over here. Ah, you're getting old, sunburnt and warm. Well, I just needed 5 minutes under the old tree and I was repaired from the sun. And maybe your children will tell their children. You don't know. But yeah, imagine yourself as the tree and try to do something positive for people. Try to get yourself remembered. And always remember to be curious, be kind, be gentle with other people. Don't be a fucking twat all the time. It's funny to be a hassle every now and then. It's funny to be a hassle, yeah, it is. It's funny to be a bastard, making people angry. I fucking love making people angry. But yeah, as a general rule, but just be kind to one another, you know? It's nothing religious or any bullshit like that, just, yeah. Anyway, take care. There's another thing that Seneca wrote that's really beautiful, and that is that life is not short per se. We make it short. We make it seem like it's short, and we also have the power to make it seem much longer than it is. Depends on what we do with it. You can live 80 years, 90 years and feel like you lived 5 or 6. It's because you need to, you know, you need to live. Of course, some people, oh look, rabbit shit. That was a rabbit hole, I think. Anyway, some people do work a lot, and it's very noble of them. But you need to find your little moments of peace. I'm not saying a full-on vacation, because not everyone can afford that, of course. But in those dead moments, when you just want some quiet and peace, and, you know, try and explore a bit, try and be curious. Don't just sit down and do nothing all day. And this is coming from someone who is actually very lazy. Like, yeah, you're seeing me on Arthur's Seat. Arthur's Seat is 15 minutes away from where I live. It's not far, I'm not exploring. I'm just here because I like it, because it's quiet. But yeah, try and explore, try and be curious and live your life. And yeah, try and live as long as you can, because you never know how long that is. Anyway, take care, see ya. I still believe that, what the fuck was that sound?